Welcome. In this video, we will be having a brief explanation on first unit of Strength of Materials 2 under JNTU Hyderabad, in particular R18 syllabus. So this video will help you to have a glance on all topics of first unit that will be helpful in your preparation. So let us get into that. So in the first unit, we have two parts. One is torsion in circular shafts, another one is about springs. So in that first part, that first topic will be the shafts and torsion. So we have another video exclusively on torsion concept and derivation of pure torsion, derivation of torsion equation. So I will be sharing the link at the end of the video. Please watch that. You will understand it better with the practical applications. Or otherwise, let me say we have the shafts and torsion here. Torsion is nothing but twisting moment, right? So if you apply the twisting, if you rotate the shaft, you can say that is under torque, and this will the shafts are subjected to the torsion, and these will be used in automobiles mainly to transmit the power from engine to the rear wheels, and many more applications in mechanical engineering and having very less applications in civil engineering. So we can see that applications in the notes that will be and also in the video I have given to you. Okay, theory of pure torsion. So we have theory of pure torsion assumptions. So it is a theory. Pure torsion is nothing but the shaft is subjected to only torsion and no any other bending. It is subjected to only pure torque. It is subjected to two equal and opposite rotations. So torsion, if you think of wringing your clothes, so squeezing, how will you squeeze out the water from your clothes? You apply the torsion. That is nothing but you are applying two equal and opposite rotations, right? And here we have to derive the equation T by J is equal to C theta by L is equal to tau by R. So that derivation is also there in that video I have mentioned. Okay, power transmitted by the shafts. So how much power is transmitted by the shafts? We have to consider P is equal to 2 pi nt by 60. This expression will give you all the numerical values. Apart from the concept of torsion, as engineers, we have to mention how much torsion is produced, how much power is transmitted, how much the diameter should be for transmitting particular torque. So we have to mention them in numericals, right? So in order to mention them in numericals, these are the important expressions we have that will be very helpful in finding that torsion diameters all in numerical values. If you practice them, that will the concept will be helpful in your in finding and designing the torques. Okay, design of shafts according to theories of failure. So for the maximum shear stress or maximum strain energy, you need to find out the what should be the diameter of the shaft, or it is the hollow shaft, what should be the diameter what should be thickness of the shafts, what should be outer diameter, what should be inner diameter. These three parameters you need to find out in order to design the shafts. That is, design is nothing but you are finding the dimensions, mainly diameters and thicknesses. So according to theories of failure, nothing but so they will give the maximum shear stress or maximum strain energy. Accordingly, you have to find out the thickness, how much thickness should be there in order to bear that much of stress, in order to carry that much of stress. Bulk modulus, also known as polar modulus. So that is nothing but it is denoted by Zp, and it is the ratio of polar moment of inertia to the radius of the shaft, right? And don't confuse with the section modulus, which is section modulus is I by I, moment of inertia by the that is nothing but moment of inertia by the distance from the neutral axis to the topmost or bottommost layer, or let me say outermost layer, and it is denoted by J. Okay, torsional rigidity is nothing but how much the section, how much the shaft is rigid to the torsion. So that is depending upon the type of material and its polar moment of inertia, that is depending on the size of the shaft, that is Cj. And comparison of hollow and solid shaft. For transmitting same amount of torque, so what if we use solid shaft and what if we use hollow shaft? So for the same torque, if we use the hollow shaft, sometimes the material may be reduced and and finally it becomes economical. So our ultimate aim is to use the material which are having less self weight and having more energy to function well. So if you use the solid shaft, that will be completely having a solid material. If you use in place of a hollow shaft, so which is in hollow inside, to transmit the same amount of torque, you can find it is economical. And how much percentage, how much percentage hollow is better than solid shaft, you have to compare them by weights. So that is also very important to find out, very important concept. So that is all there in the torsion concept. These are the simple concepts are there in torsion. You have to practice them well. So at the end of the show, at the end of the slideshow, I have given you some questions. You just practice them all. Okay. Topics in brief for the part 2 springs. So we have introduction to the springs, closely coiled springs and open coiled springs, tension springs, compression springs. So these springs can be used as a shock absorbers. Open coiled springs, if you use them, those are compression springs. Those are not, that is nothing but compression springs are the springs whose energy can be retrieved from the compression. So for the bikes, so if you see the bikes, you can see the springs at the seat, below the seat. So that will be very helpful in absorbing the shock, absorbing shocks when the bike undergoes a jerk with the speed breakers and all. So that will going to help you, the springs which are going to help you to have very less jerks. So like this, many applications are there for the springs. So those were also discussed. You just watch your notes, you just follow your notes. Types of springs. So many types of springs are there we are using here. Closely coiled springs, open coiled springs. So for this bikes, you use these type of helical springs. That means open coiled, closely coiled will come under helical springs, and you have leaf springs also. For heavy vehicles like lorries or four wheelers will have leaf springs in order to absorb the shock. They will be provided at the top place of the top right, or I mean top side portion of the wheel. So wheel will be there, here the springs are located, these leaf springs. And if you see, the spring shape will be like this. If it is the wheel, the spring shape will be like this. Of course this leaf spring was not discussed in the JNTU syllabus. So as you have to follow the exam pattern, so closely coiled and open coiled springs are already discussed. Please go through them. Closely coiled helical springs, you need to find out mainly deflection, which is 64 WR cube N by CD power 4. And here we have all the parameters are weight. We have how much weight the spring has to carry. This is radius of this coil radius. This is a number of turns the spring has. C is a modulus of rigidity or shear modulus. D is that depends on material. D is the diameter of the spring wire, this wire. So you need to find out mainly them. And stiffness, which we have load by deflection, load per deflection. So how much deflection will have if you apply the load. So that ratio, that is known as stiffness, or stiffness is simply the resistance against deflection. Open coiled helical springs. So you have in a similar manner, open coiled helical spring have a derivation, and you have another expression for open coiled helical spring. And springs in series and springs in parallel. Springs are connected in series like this. If the springs are one after another, those will be subjected to, those will be called as springs in series. And springs in parallel are the springs are subjected side by side carrying the same load. And here whatever the deflection happens in the first spring will be equal to the second spring. Deflection will be same and the load carried may not be same. So let me say this is W1, W2 and load is W. The total load will be load carried by the spring 1 and load carried by the spring 2. So that is what you have to remember. And here if you see here, the deflection of the first spring may not be equal to the deflection of second spring. So a total deflection will be deflection in first spring plus deflection in second spring. So this is also simple concept. So just go through them, and if you have any doubts, let me know. Okay. So those were already discussed. Those other topics already discussed here. Springs in series and springs in parallel and open coil springs. So these are the main topics you have to focus on, and these are some questions I have given to you for practice. You just practice them all. If you have any doubts, ask me. Just pause the video, note down the question, and solve that. So we have given totally 9 plus 7. I have given 16 questions here. 16 questions. This is slide 1. This is slide 2. 7 questions here. And there we have 9 questions. You just pause the video and note down the questions. You just to practice them all. If you have any doubt, please let me know through my mail ID, medurimonica@gmail.com.